You can't handle the truth.
What a gift, don't you think, from Mr. Wallace to the world?
Well, it's nice to see you too.
Obi-Wan, we meet again at last.
Eddie, is there anything you can't do?
Hello, I'm Tyler Smith, and this is Rediscover Movies. Thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to be discussing Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley. And I'm a little bit conflicted about discussing it. One of the reasons is that the film did not do particularly well at the box office, and I'm not even 100% sure if you can see it in the theaters right now. It, like everything else, got buried under the avalanche of the new Spider-Man movie, and it's an R-rated film that looked a little bit heavy, and it is that, but it is also a really marvelous film that is getting some nominations with various critics groups and guild groups and that sort of thing, and so it may wind up getting a theatrical re-release. But if it doesn't, it should be coming out on video soon, and it is a film that I highly recommend. You do need to be ready for it, though, because it is a throwback to a different style of filmmaking called film noir, which tends to be visually quite dark, tonally maybe even darker, and often quite cynical, and this film definitely is not merely a tribute to that, it really embraces that. The film's director, Guillermo del Toro, is clearly a lover of film and a lover of film history, and he will often incorporate that love into the movies that he makes. His 2015 film Crimson Peak is a tribute to the British Hammer horror movies of the 1950s and 60s, and so if you know Guillermo del Toro, you know that he also has a demented side to him as well. So even his big prestige film from 2017, which actually won Best Picture, The Shape of Water, is very strange, but often very beautiful at the same time. And that's definitely how I would describe Nightmare Alley. It is strange and beautiful, and often very creepy. If you're familiar with film noir, you know that it tends to be emotionally a little bit cold, but often very, very specific and very deliberate, and this film is that, but it also has a really disconcerting quality to it as well. It takes place at first in an old-time carnival, which has all of the things that you would associate with an old-time carnival, including a freak show and also, yes, a geek show. Anybody who knows what a geek show is, you know what I mean, and yes, you see everything. Guillermo del Toro also likes to incorporate grotesque imagery into his films, and this is definitely no different. In the film, Bradley Cooper plays sort of a drifter who wanders into a carnival and learns about the idea of mentalism, which is reading people and telling them things about themselves that you could never possibly know, and seeming like some kind of medium. And one of the film's pleasures is when he is learning how to do that, and learning that based on somebody's posture or how they're dressed or whatever it is, you can actually infer things about them. And I'm a big fan of any film that shows like process, and I think the film does that very well. And Bradley Cooper is very good in the film. He's really shown himself to be one of our more malleable leading men. But the film has a great ensemble cast, including Willem Dafoe, Ron Perlman, Toni Collette, Cate Blanchett, Rooney Mara, and David Strathairn, who plays the guy that he learns about mentalism from. And I think David Strathairn is an actor that I've always really liked, and I think he is maybe the emotional core of a movie that doesn't have much of an emotional core. But it is definitely a film worth watching. But you do need to be ready for it. As I said, it is visually very dark, and another aspect of film noir is that it's very cynical. This is maybe one of the more cynical stories I can think of. And if you're familiar with film noir, you'll see the cues throughout the film knowing like, okay, I think I see where we're headed. And sure enough, when we get there, you're like, okay, that is what I thought it was going to be, and it is every bit as dark and bleak as I thought it was going to be. And maybe you're not into that. Maybe you don't enjoy dark and bleak things. And I guess I don't really either, unless it's done in just such a really beautiful style as film noir tends to be. And here it really is gorgeous. Just the way, especially the way Guillermo del Toro uses color. Just these really beautiful, vibrant greens and golds. The set design, the costume design, everything is so meticulous, and it just draws you into this world. And it really is a wonderful experience, but just one that you need to be ready for as far as some of the stuff that you're going to see. And so I felt I should recommend a really great film noir. I've decided to go with Fritz Lang's Scarlet Street, featuring a wonderful performance by Edward G. Robinson. And it is everything that you expect from an old-time film noir. This is not one of the detective film noirs. This is one of the, films noir. That's how you're supposed to say it. But this is more of an everyman film noir, like Double Indemnity, like The Postman Always Rings Twice. And Edward G. Robinson, who usually plays a tough guy in these types of films, here plays this milquetoast, very sad, kind of pathetic character who gets drawn in with the promise of love, and of course that really doesn't work out. Scarlet Street is a marvelous film. It's often quite funny. It is very bleak, but it is wonderfully written, wonderfully acted, and it is available right here on Rediscover Television. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll get you next time. Bye.